hardest things to do, at least in my mind, because how can you put your faith and hope in something you cannot see? It's just a concept that many can't grasp, and that's why maybe a reason why many people aren't Christians today. But in the Bible, I actually got this cool verse where it defines what faith actually is, and it's in Hebrews 11, verses 1 through 3. And it says, "Now faith is being sure of what we hope for, and certain of what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for." And then he goes on after and mentions a bunch of people throughout the Bible who put their faith and trust in God. And it said, faith is being sure of what we hope for. So faith is not only just hoping in something we can't see, but it's also assuring us that it is there, like God is always there for us in our lives when we need Him. And it actually mentions a cool list of people. I'm not going to read the actual verses, but it mentions Abel and how he offered God a better sacrifice than Cain. Abel offered his best, everything he had. But Cain, he offered, like Bob was just talking about, he only gave God his leftovers and what he didn't use. And that is why Abel got the praise from God, and Cain was kind of looked down upon in Genesis, that is. And then the second person it mentions is Enoch. He was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. Enoch was someone who followed God, did everything right with his life, and was just overall what a follower of Jesus should and would look like today. And it actually says he didn't experience death, which that's actually only one of the few people, I believe, in the Bible who did not die, but rather God just took him into heaven from earth. I think that's cool to mention. And 3 was Noah building the ark when called to go to a place and build the ark to save his family and basically all of us. That's why we're here today. He needed great faith to be able to do that through God. And the fourth, the last it mentions, I believe Abraham is actually called the father of faith. If most of you don't know the story of Abraham, he had to go up. God called him to go up on the mountain and sacrifice his only son. But then, as Abraham was already up there and about to do it, God said no, because as we know now, later God was going to come and bring Jesus so that Abraham didn't have to make the sacrifice, but it was God in the end who made the ultimate sacrifice so that we can be here now and worship Him and just have His forgiveness like we do now. And now, I'm sure all of us have struggled with things at times in our lives, and that's what faith is for. Faith is hoping God will just comfort us and just help us know that He's always there and that He helps us to get through the tough times. And as a church, we've definitely experienced times where we needed a lot of faith to maybe get through a lot of difficult times. And Bob and Jake, you may have heard them mention in some of their past sermons how Impact hasn't always or isn't financially stable or whatever, and actually half of Impact's earnings come from outside sources, and we're actually supported by a bunch of different churches, and that I know for the church is definitely something where they've had to put a lot of faith in God in it at times, and I just think that's really cool. And actually, since a few months ago,